Cody Caldwell. One of my favorite people I've ever gone to Cape Town with.
Rough ending.
Rough ending, but then we got to explore Cape Town. And we
rough ending to the
volleyball.
Not rough ending to the trip.
Yeah. And that loss to the Bayos, it looks better and better.
Yeah.
They had a hell of a year.
Yeah, they're doing all right. They keep beating people.
They did. They took fifth at Euros.
Yeah, that was, one of the saddest I have ever been. not because we lost. I'm not like, oh, we lost. It was just like, wow, the guy that I played with just did everything possible, everything you need to do to win a match at an elite tournament, the only elite I've ever played in. You as well?
Me too, yeah.
To get to the next round of the qualifier, and I just farted the end of the match so hard.
It's so hard, though, because, well, according to the stats, you got served every ball.
Oh, yeah.
Because we flipped our jerseys.
Yeah, we flipped the jerseys.
It's so hard, though, because you didn't get the ball one time.
That was
for the first hour.
Yeah, and then what? Was it like a slight rain, too?
Yeah.
With the old Mikasa?
Yeah, pretty rainy, and then you get the Mikasa. It was the old one, super slick.
Yeah. Your boy was out of rhythm. Couldn't find it.
But you didn't let it affect you, because then following year, you just ball out.
Yeah.
You had a great year, dude.
It was a fun year. And for sure.
It's so funny, too, because I remember, when did you get back from India? At the beginning of the year?
Early March, about a week before Miami.
Yeah. So a week before Miami. Then you go to Miami, and I'm like, I don't know. Cody's probably going to be pretty bad. Just got, now Miami's windy. Just got back from India. Hasn't played on the beach. He's probably been eating crap. He's playing indoor. Body probably feels terrible. And then you take a third. Should have made the finals.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Sorry. We're bringing out your worst memories.
No, dude. Yeah, that was a super fun tournament, but we had them. We were right there. But, I'm sure a lot of people can say we had the Taylors. They play their best when their backs are against the wall, I think.
Taylor Crabb is the king of the carrot dangle. Yeah. He's just like, 15-6, chase him out. Dangy. Take it.
It was worse in the finals.
Yeah.
But also like 11-2 or something.
Was it that bad?
It was something like that. I was there watching it. I'm terrible with scores, but I'm pretty sure it was like 10-2, 11-2 that they came back from.
Only Taylor Crabb.
Yeah.
And he's never stressed.
No, neither of them are. I think they're like, we're down. It's match point. Perfect. This is a perfect time to play great volleyball.
Yeah. And sometimes it can be, I think people would see it as an Achilles heel, and I would get that argument. And sometimes it's their greatest superpower.
Yeah. I've only really seen it. Well, of course, they lose some matches. Everybody does. But I've only seen it like more times than not work in their favor.
Yeah.
I've had match point on them multiple times in multiple different matches. Hasn't worked out for me yet.
Yeah. Where else? So you played them in the semis in Miami, which was an awesome match. And then you played them. Where else did you play in this year?
Chicago with Sean.
Okay. Oh, no. Oh, can we get the story behind the double bird that Sander? Did you?
I have no idea where it came from. I think Sean told me he was chirping at him a little bit. But Sean's chirping. It's nothing like personal, or it's not really offensive.
Yeah, it's just Sean.
I have no idea if that was like at Sean or if it was just Taylor being Taylor. I don't know. I have no idea where it came from.
It was so funny.
I don't even think I saw it, to be honest. People just told me about it. I was like, oh, whatever.
I remember because we had just finished, we were playing the Calcutta here.
Okay.
And we were streaming in between matches. Mm-hmm. And the Bally Stream had a great look at it.
Okay.
Just boom, boom, right off the bat. I was like, damn.
And that was for the match, or maybe to take it to 3? It was for the match.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you had him there.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was, first game we won. I don't remember the score, maybe by 3 or I don't know. Second game, I think we had him 2018, siding out.
Yeah.
Taylor bombs an ace down the line, bombs an ace on Sean's line, I think. It tied up, and then within the next 3 or 4 points, it's over.
Yeah. And I think only Sander can do that. What's crazy about Sander is that...
I got to go last name at this point. I'm just saying Taylor.
Right. Because he misses serves more than anyone on the AVP. And yet at 2018, he doesn't care about a miss rate. Nope. He's still just bombing serves. And I feel like the tighter it gets, the later in the match it gets, the less errors he makes, but he stays the same aggressiveness.
Yeah.
It's weird. corollary.
That's a clutch factor.
Yeah.
That's a clutch factor that, goes a long way in volleyball. If you're
Yes, it does.
if you're doing clutch things and playing better volleyball than you do normally at the end of matches or end of games, that goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, I mean, and he's one of the only people in the world hitting the ball that hard on his serve. So it's hard to train for as well.
I think
you know what I mean?
I talked to Phil about it, and Phil says that his serves are harder than Evandro's.
I've trained with Evandro. I've never
Really?
played him in matches. Yeah, me and A-Rob in like Doha last year or 2 years ago or something. But yeah, I don't think I've ever trained with Taylor with the Mikasa. So I've only played him with the Wilson, which is, makes a difference on the serve in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, there's no question he's hitting the ball one of the hardest in the world, top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't played everybody, but I don't have to. I know that that ball's coming in
He's
as hard as anybody else or harder than anybody else.
I've played against where when I'm in serve receive, I'm playing defense.
Yep. Yep. If he gets a hold of it, just keep it on your side.
Yep.
Anywhere.
You're just digging a hard driven.
That's a win. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
You've got a little bit of that too. When you get your serve cooking, and yours is filthy because you have that nice languid arm swing and you get like a hook on it.
Yeah. A thumb up hook. Yeah, and I wasn't going as aggressive this year, nor was I as strong as I'd like to be because I've just been playing a lot of volleyball the last couple of years. So I just haven't had the strength that I'd like to. And I was just going for, I like you said, Taylor misses a lot of serves. However, he also gets arguably more aces than anyone. Or I know Paul maybe was in that category.
The stats
right up
were
there.
really interesting. So Sander hit, and I could have the numbers slightly off. So Sander had 168 errors.
Okay.
Which was the same exact amount of total serves that Lotman had.
Mm-hmm.
And Sander had 72 aces and Lotman had 68.
Okay.
So Lotman's ace rate was way higher.
Okay.
But I think, and I had Lotman as the server of the year, but the players voted for Sander. And I think it's sort of a Sander factor.
Yeah.
Where when he's at the service line, you don't really get an oh shit from anyone else but Sander. Even Lottie.
What do you mean when you're as a passer?
Yeah. When he's at the line, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
When Lottie's there, you're like, okay, I got to focus. But Sander's the only one who's going to knock you over.
Yeah, but also I don't know why that is with Lotman. Why you think he's like less threatening? He pins balls like
He pings it, and he doesn't miss a whole lot.
No. So anyway, how did we get lost in that tangent?
Chicago, double bird, Sander, ace.
Nah, I forget where we're going with it. But yeah, I didn't even know where the double bird came from anyway. But it came. It was there. It happened.
Well, you had
but yeah.
You had a sick year though, and you played a lot of volleyball.
Yeah.
You played well in the Rupe Prime.
The Rupe Prime, dude.
Well, I kind of start there actually. How did you get set up with that league?
David Lee. David Lee and Madison McKibben both hit me up. So I don't know what Madison's connection is there. I don't know if he was just somebody helping get players over there or what, but Dave was really the one that got me, locked into who to talk to and get the contract and everything. He told me he was going, and he was recruiting up I think it was 2021 or 22, one of those years where he brought over, 7 or 8 of us AVP players, kind of ex-indoor players, where it was me, Kyle Friend, Ryan Meehan, Bruno.
Meehan. I didn't know Meehan was the Rupe Primer.
Meehan was a Rupe Prime. He played a few matches and then busted up his knee and had to take a little break after that. But then, who else?
Satterfield?
Satterfield, Kubi.
Colton Cowell? Was
and
he
Colton.
over there?
Colton, his first year. Yeah, he was right up. That was his first pro contract.
Okay.
So there was a lot of beach, ex-indoor beach players there. And yeah, it was Dave that got me the contract.
Got it.
Yeah.
How was it? Well, the first year's tough because that was a bubble, right?
First year was a bubble. We could not leave the hotel except to go to practice or anything.
Oh.
So that was a little weird for sure. But we took some time once the season was over to do some traveling after that and everything. I loved it personally. I had an amazing time, and you'll hear tons of mixed reviews about India, about, people's different experiences and whatnot. But I mean, they treat us like kings over there. We're in 5-star hotels basically the whole time. The hospitality is amazing. They take care of us. They're stoked to have us there, and met some super cool people. Mm-hmm. And for me, I grew up in Newport Beach, so I'm super privileged and thankful, and I've had a very good life, And so for me to see those type of things and see those countries, it was the most eye-opening, culture shocking experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And so I love to see that stuff. You know, here in America, we got people who, if they get cut off on the road, that ruins their day, you know, and these people have nothing over there and they're as happy as can be. So it's super interesting to me. And I, had a great experience. Loved it.
It reminds me of that quote.
I've been 3 times now. Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's something about the boy with no shoes stopped complaining when he saw the boy with no feet.
There you go.
And that's sort of when Americans go to an India, or for me, a China, a Cuba, you come back and you're like, this is life.
Yep.
This is a good life.
Yeah. We're okay here.
We're going to do all right.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I loved it. Loved the food, loved the people. Volleyball was amazing. It's unlike any volleyball experience you'll ever have. You know, they have incredible athletes, but they're, you know, they don't have the same coaching or opportunities that we have as kids. You know, I've been getting coached since I was 12 years old, started playing indoor or whatever. You know, these guys, I don't know at what age they picked it up, but they just simply don't have the facilities, the coaching, the opportunities that we have as kids. So they don't know, you know, as Dan or some of the Brazilians might say, the rice and beans. They don't know the ABCs, you know, but they can still jump as high, hit as hard as anybody in the world. So it's interesting style of play, but super fun.
How long is that season?
First year, it was 4 or 5 weeks I was there.
Okay.
So for the season was 4 weeks, my first time. Then it went to 5 or 6 this past year.
You did 2?
I've done 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice, quick season.
Yeah.
Get some money, come back, and that'll fund your beach.
Unless you're kind of in the top mix of international beach stuff, then there's not much going on. No AVPs going on at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't think, at least. I thought I was going to have, you know, a few months this year to come back and like, okay, I'll come back from India and, you know, have a little preseason lift or whatever for a month or 2. And then AVP season will start. And then they drop the March tournament on us. I was like, okay, let's come back and rock and roll.
Didn't affect you though.
Honestly, I was super lucky that it was shallow. I think the shallow sand in Miami was very lucky for me.
Yeah, I mean,
had that first tournament been Hermosa, I think I would have seen a different result.
You think so?
I think so.
Because it was windy though.
It was windy.
Miami was breezy.
Yeah.
And what do you think's harder to come back to?
Which also means you're probably going to see a few more jump serves, which I was, you know, as an indoor player, creating the angle for a jump serve is much easier than a float serve for me.
Yeah, and you have a great jump serve.
Yeah, exactly. That played in our favor.
What helps you make the transition from indoor to beach, or is it just reps, just years and years and years
from indoor to beach?
Yeah.
Like specifically from India or just in general?
Just in general.
Just in general. It took me a while when I came, like after, you know, I played in Greece and France after college for a year each, and going to beach from that, which was, you know, most of my life I'd played mainly indoor because that's, you know, how I got into college, and there's just more financial opportunities, and that's the kind of the route I went. I did play beach growing up, but it just wasn't, you know, not year round or not. I was just like a couple CBVAs a summer.
Yeah.
So going from indoor to beach, it took me years and still to this day, probably I'm shaking off some like just indoor volleyball habits that I was taught my entire life. So when I came out, I was broad jumping a bunch, couldn't necessarily get my feet to the ball as well as some other guys, hitting a lot more with my shoulder and less wrist. Passing locations, setting everything's just, it's a different sport. You're still playing volleyball, but it's technique, strategy, everything's just totally different, as you know.
Yeah.
So just reps and reps and reps of fine tuning and just getting rid of indoor habits over the years. That's, you know, what it took for me to become more of a beachy player.
Yeah. Well, you played indoor. Did you play your whole life? When did you pick that up?
I started playing volleyball, like messing around with my brother in the backyard when I was like 10, we'll say, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty long time.
Yeah.
Got it.
20 years now.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And then officially, you know, played on my first team when I was in middle school. So what are you, like 12 or something like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you end up at Loyola Chicago?
So I was choosing between Loyola, Hawaii, and Long Beach State. Long Beach, I would have loved going there. I visited, I don't know if you know Connor Albright. It was Taylor Crabb's roommate at the time. So that's who I took my official visit with. Went there and like would have been a great fit, honestly, but it was like 20 minutes from my house. And I was like, just kind of wanted to get away from home.
Okay.
So that kind of ruled that one out. and then went to Hawaii and didn't love the coaching staff that they had at the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just didn't see eye to eye with the coach there. So I went on my visit. That would have been such an amazing place to play. If you go to Hawaii and you're playing for UH, you're like,
king.
They get more people than the Olympics, I think, they're consistently at 6,000 plus a match or something like that. Would have been such a cool experience, would have been super fun. But just didn't quite see eye to eye with the coach at the time. And that's not the only reason you go to college, right? I wasn't going just for volleyball. Because when I went to Loyola, I did love the coaching staff. I was like, okay, we got young coaching staff. We got a setter, we got a middle, we got an outside. One of my buddies, Curtis Myrick, I don't know if you know the Myrick family, but his brother was already out there. He played for MB Surf, a local club around here, growing up, and we had always played against each other since we were like 13. And he was going out there with his brother, and I was like, this could be a good situation. And I didn't really, like I said, I wasn't really making my decision 100% on volleyball. I was just like, just go to Chicago, this is a cool city, go with some of my friends and like the coaching staff and have a good experience. Super good school. And that's kind of what brought me there. Yeah, it was just coaching staff, some friends, and just seemed like a better situation than Hawaii and Long Beach for me personally.
I'm obviously pretty new to the indoor world.
Yeah.
Long Beach obviously has a tremendous history. Hawaii has a tremendous tradition.
Yeah.
Does Loyola have that? Because you guys were excellent when you were there, and they're still very good. Do they have that sort of tradition?
Nothing like Hawaii and Long Beach.
Yeah.
I think they were a somewhat respected team for sure. You're not going to, if any of the West Coast teams had played Loyola before I was there, I don't think you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a 3-0, boom, boom, easy win.
Right.
We'll get out of here and we'll go have some beers. But while I was there, we did make the NC2A tournament for the first time and then got their first.
Oh, that was the first time.
First time they had been there. Yeah, they had always been to their conference. They've been to their conference championship plenty of times, and I don't know if you know how it works, but if you win your conference championship, you go to the Final Four or whatever it is now. I think they're up to Final 8 in college or something like that. So yeah, they had just never won that conference championship and made it to the tournament. So we did that my sophomore year, and then the next 2 years got the back-to-back.
So you made it as your sophomore year, and then you won 2 in a row.
Yep.
And you won. The first one was 2014.
2014.
And you were the MVP?
Was MVP of the NC2A tournament, yeah.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. It was some of the best days of my life, for sure.
I bet.
For sure.
Who were...
we got lucky, and I don't know if you know how it works. They bounce around the NC2A tournament just to... You can throw in a bid like years before, and Loyola randomly threw in a bid in like 2010, and it ended up...
Oh,
it was at Loyola
in
2014, which was pretty cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's interesting that they would do that at not a neutral site.
Yeah. They're, like I said, it doesn't, like, if we didn't make the tournament, they weren't going to have it somewhere else. It was still going to be at Loyola. It just, the stars kind of aligned. We made the tournament and made the finals. And
because
brought it home.
The beach volleyball, they always go to Gulf Shores, which is, technically neutral, technically like Alabama Birmingham's home court, but they're going to move that to Huntington.
Oh, really?
Which will be neutral. Not this year. I think it starts in 25.
Neutral. Well, California teams might have a little advantage being able to train there if they want, or leading up to it. Yeah,
and I'm kind of torn because Gulf Shores, it's really hard to get to. Yeah. And it's in the middle of nowhere. But that's also, it's sort of like Omaha for the NCAA baseball tournament.
Yeah.
Where that's the NCAA baseball tournament. Everyone always says, like, we're going to Gulf Shores. There was this it was this tradition that was built over the past 10 plus years. Now they're moving to Huntington, which I love on the one hand, because California is the mecca for the sport. But on the other hand, it's like, damn, Gulf Shores is kind of cool. It's cool to have these little traditions.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. They might get a little more of attendance. What do you think in Huntington?
Yeah, because it's
just
easier.
For sure, there's more volleyball fans in general in Southern California, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are traveling to Gulf Shores for that tournament, but might get some more people there. Could make it more fun. Who knows?
I think so. I think you'll probably get more people. I think that the setting is really cool, and I think you'll probably get more playable conditions because Gulf Shores in the afternoon at that time of year, it's pretty much a guarantee that you're going to get 20 plus mile an hour winds.
Ooh.
and that's hard.
That makes a difference.
It's hard for TV because you don't know why everyone's shanking passes and blowing sets all over the place.
Yeah,
You're like,
for sure.
wait, this is the finals?
Yeah,
Like,
especially if you're not a volleyball person watching or something, you know. Those are the little things in our sport that make it tough to.
Yeah, and the only way you can tell is you can see the ocean. It's just nothing but white
just
caps.
ripping. Yeah,
yeah. It's like, okay, this is tough.
Yeah. Damn. Well, that'd be cool.
Did you grow up with indoor ambitions to go do the whole like college national team Olympic route, or did you sort of take it one step at a time?
I definitely had some ambitions when I was about 14 or 15. I was like, I think I'm better than most people around me at this sport. I think I could probably go to college for it. And that was kind of the first dream, right? Was to just play at a Division I university. When you're that young, you know, you see the guys that are 2 years older than you and you don't think you'll never get there.
Right.
So, you know, for sure that was a dream when I was a kid. And as you get closer to it, I realized I could make that happen. And then as I realized I could probably make that happen, then I was like, I'd like to play volleyball professionally. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, you know, did pretty well in college and played a couple years of pro. And then just was like, if I want to make some money in the sport, I'm going to have to do this and climb the ladder of being 9 months in Europe for, you know, 10 plus years probably. And I was like, I think I'd rather just go home and play beach where I can be around my friends and family. Not that my experience in Europe was incredible. We got to play in Greece and France for, you know, 8 or 9 months, whatever, full season over there. And I loved it. It was so fun. But I was like, I don't want to be over here for 8 or 9 months out of the year for the next 10 years. I'd rather just go home, and maybe there's not as much money in beach or this or that or whatever, but at the end I can find some success there and do it while I'm, you know, with the people that I love.
Yeah. I feel like that's the number one deterrent from talented players playing indoors, from talented American players, is the lifestyle.
Yep.
And I feel like, because that's where I think Taylor Crabb did a year in France.
I don't know what he did professionally indoor. I thought he was in Italy, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe Italy, but I think he was like, wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Came back to the beach. Trevor never even messed around with it.
Yeah.
But then I look at guys like a David Lee, a Reed Pretty, right now, a Micah Christensen.
Yep.
All those guys. Matt Anderson still doing
Sander.
it. Shoji, Sander. And it's like, you did club for 8 or 9 months, and then you did USA for the other 3.
Yeah, I mean, you have what?
And then you went back to club.
You probably have like maybe a couple weeks off in August.
It's
not an Olympic year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a year-round volleyball player.
And that's abusive on the body.
Absolutely.
That's so hard. Like, beach players are, you know, we complain a lot about having a long season. Like last year was a long season if you're playing international, but all the indoor guys are like, please.
Yeah. Yeah. They're on a hard surface for 11 and a half months a year, essentially. Yeah. I mean, I forget. Yeah. I mean, I know there was a couple of years where I was like, all right, well, I got my 2 weeks in August. I better use them wisely.
Yeah. Did you do any national team stuff?
Kind of, not really. I went to the Pan American Games in 2015. So I was like in the gym a little bit and did the Pan Am Games, which was more like a B team that wasn't like the top team that they sent. Never really got the chance with that top team. Had I kept playing, I probably would have climbed my way there, in my opinion.
If you stuck with it, do you think that you'd be an outside on the team today?
I think I'd be in the mix. Yeah. I'm not saying I'd be starting or anything like that, but I think I'd be maybe traveling
like
if I was lucky. Yeah. On the practice squad or something like that.
Yeah.
I think there would probably be a spot for me.
Do you, is there any regret about not playing indoor anymore, or are you pretty happy with your beach decision?
Tough to say, you know, if I knew that I kept going and would have made the Olympics, then sure, it's like, oh, maybe I should have just stuck it out for a couple more years and just seen it. Could I have gone to the indoor Olympics?
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't really want to keep being in Europe for 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So came home and try my luck and see if I can make 2028.
Well, I'm glad to have you on the beach.
Yeah, me too.
It's fun having you out there.
Me too. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm having more fun than playing indoor for sure. Like I said, I had great experiences, but just the day-to-day lifestyle of beach and the people you meet and the times you get to have are good times.
And at the rate that you're going on the beach, 2028 is far from a pipe dream.
Yeah. It's a realistic goal, I think. It's a realistic goal.
And as far as your beach age, that's about when you'll be peaking.
That's what they say.
That's what they say,
right?
Yeah.
35?
Because you're 30 now? Okay. Yes, 35.
Yeah.
Money.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy that Try's almost 35.
I know.
Damn, dude. We started this podcast and you were like 28.
Yeah. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He's a veteran.
And your body's all good? Not too abused?
Body is all good now that I've had like a month and a half where I haven't really jumped, and I've just been in the weight room getting stronger for next year and been giving the shoulder a break, which has been essential. But people keep asking me, "Oh, are you going to India this year?" And I was thinking about it just because the money's good, the timing's good, and everything. But I was like, if I don't have a proper off season this year, I think it's inevitable I will get hurt at some point.
And mentally, because you want to play volleyball.
Yeah.
That was always that started to become my rule of thumb when to start training again, is when I want to play.
Yeah.
Then I'll get back to practice.
Yeah.
And every year is a little later.
A little longer of an off season every year.
Last year, me and JM were like, Miami's in like 2 weeks. We should probably
Well, that one kind of hopped up on everybody quick, right?
Sneaky.
Like, I mean, when did they announce that? In January or February? February, I want to say.
Yeah.
Hey, we're playing in a month, everybody. Get ready.
And we still don't technically have a schedule. I think we're all anticipating Miami in March.
Again this year, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a guess. It's what I would anticipate as a player.
I'm anticipating nothing. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. They talked about having that thing at the end of the year with it, top 8 teams or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, that was just some sort of verbal commitment. Like, I mean, I don't know these people that are doing the new schedule or whatever. They could yank that from under the rug like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's not like a concrete schedule. Nobody has like, hey, we're going here.
Right.
November 7th, 14th, and a couple weeks later, we're going to Chicago. Like, it's just, hey, at the end of the year, there's some sort of league going on for the top 8 teams. So
it's going to be an interesting
year. I mean, you know
year.
more than me, but
I know as much as anyone.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all. And I think that the new guys, I think, are sort of being intentionally vague right now while all the details are being worked out.
For sure. No, I'm not saying, hey, what's going on, guys? You need to give us some announcement. I'm just saying I have no idea what's going on or what to expect.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear.
It's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because you have the end of the Olympic qualification, then the Olympics in July and August, and then you have whatever the new AVP is going to look like.
Yep.
It's just going to be an interesting year on the beach.
Yep. Are the points going to stay the same? Are they going to switch them up on us? Like, who knows? Who knows?
Right? The point system, it changes every 6 months, I feel like.
Yeah. So, good luck to us all.
Yeah. Well, you're coming off what I would consider a career year.
Yeah, for sure.
You were the Volleyball Mag Most Improved Player.
Yeah.
And so my argument for you over Andy was because as far as the AVP goes, Andy was already established as elite. Mm-hmm. I think he improved more on the world stage than
he was
the
already an AVP champ, correct?
Yeah. But you came out, you take 3rd Miami, 3rd in New Orleans.
Yep.
You and Sean won Wapaka without dropping a set.
Yep.
Took a 3rd in Manhattan.
Yep.
What'd you end up doing in Chicago? 9th? You had a shit draw.
We got the 9th.
Because you got the Taylors for 9th, right?
We beat Hagen and Logan, and then that brought us to the Taylors, yeah. Who lost to the random one to DJ and Leela.
Yeah. Wait, well, who put you in the loser's bracket?
Taylors.
I thought the Taylors knocked you out.
No, so we beat Hagen and Logan, took us to the Taylors. Taylors gave us our first loss, and then we played Andy and Miles. No.
Andy and Miles gave you your first loss.
No, Andy and Miles gave us our first loss. Is that right?
In 3, yeah.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Okay.
And then
so we beat Hagen and
Taylors.
Logan. We play Andy and Miles. They give us our first loss. Then we play the Taylors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you played good volleyball and took.
I'm happy with. I'm totally happy with the volleyball we played.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh man, I should have done this, and this. We could have been so much better. We should have beat this team or that team." People get a shit draw. Somebody gets a shit draw in every single tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, oh, I didn't get the best draw, but you're gonna have to beat everybody at some point. So we played some good teams, we played some good volleyball, and we came up short.
Yeah.
It happens.
What's it like to play Andy and Miles right now?
It was super fun, honestly. It was a super fun match. I mean, playing any match with Sean it's a good time. But it was a good kind of test to see, hey, where are you at right now? You're playing a team who has had a world-class year. Obviously, I don't know, probably where they're sitting in the rankings right now, but top 10 or something, like top 5.
I think they're like 7.
Okay. So hey, I think they had, at that point, they had won Gstaad, or which big tournament did they win?
Stad.
They won
Bronze
Gstaad, right?
Ostrava, Silver Montreal.
Beat Anders and Christian twice in that tournament. So it's like, okay, this team is having a lot of success internationally. And it didn't seem to just be a flash in the pan, right? They kind of had some good finishes consistently. So it's like, okay, well, let's size up against this team and kind of see where we're at. And yeah, we ended up taking them to 3. I don't think that we really had the edge, and in set 3 at no point was I like, oh, we, this is our match. I think they kind of had us in the third set pretty handily, but to take them to 3 and know that you're a couple points away from making that happen, right? In volleyball things switch so quickly, and all it is a couple plays from winning to losing. So to take them to 3 and kind of put up a good fight there was a good test to see where we were at. And hey, we can, if we stick together, I think we can probably do some good things in this sport.
How was it trying to be a blocker against that offense?
It's miserable. Absolutely miserable. Because I'm not like an Andy or Theo, who's one of the bigger blockers, which, no question, it gives you a little help. The bigger blocker you are, the easier blocking is, in my opinion.
I think the math adds up.
But regardless of what size you are, they're just making, like you said, we were talking about this morning, just making the blocker make a decision, right? If they're coming in to possibly hit the ball onto arguably every single time the ball is within. I've watched both of them option from 20 feet off the net. So you're never safe, And so if they're making you do that basically every single time, you got to make a decision. And then at some point you're probably going to get burned, and they're probably going to have nobody up, or you're just going to have to pull because you can't get your feet there or whatever. There's just so much pressure on the defense. So especially your first time seeing it. I haven't played the Swedes or somebody who's kind of doing that sort of stuff. So your first time seeing it, it's a big learning curve too. Say, in this situation, we got to do this, or hey, if it's this tight, I got to commit on mild and hope he doesn't set Andy, or whatever.
Right.
Whatever you're going to do, you have to just make decisions that impact your defense, and big learning curve there. So
no kidding.
Yeah. It was
but
fun.
You went to 3. Fun match.
Yeah. Super fun.
Hilarious, entertaining too.
Oh yeah. It always,
I loved talking to Sean.
It always
about
is with Sean.
You guys playing together was so funny. I think you guys, the personality mesh, the skill set mesh, you're like my favorite team on the AVP.
Thanks, Trav. Literally every single match that you get to play with Sean is a fun one.
Yeah,
every single one. In my opinion, he's the most entertaining player on the AVP. Like you said, with his skill set, his personality, the way he gets the crowd involved, gets the ref involved, gets the other team involved. And, I've played on the same side as him for 4 tournaments this year, I think. And then I've played against him a fair amount the past couple of years. And, it's not like when you're on the other side of the net, I don't finish the match and I'm like, oh, that Sean, man, fuck that guy. Like, what an asshole. It's like, he's chirping to everybody, but he's nothing is personal. He keeps it light. He keeps it friendly, and sure, he might be playing games with people, but like I said, it's nothing personal, and yeah, it's super entertaining.
What's it
super
like
entertaining
being his partner? Because I think some guys might find it distracting to play with him when he's chasing Bill Kalinsky around the court. And they're slap my hand, Bill, slap my hand.
Yeah,
but you're a great personality because that you don't have to worry about Sean's volleyball.
You do not. You do not have to worry about Sean's volleyball. He's incredible. You have to worry about him making too many highlights. Hey, let's go back to the rice and beans and the ABCs here, Sean. Why are you going highlight every other play? No, but no, he's putting in the work, and he's got a Viking mindset. He's ready to kill everybody that's in front of him. So no, I'm not worried about him at all. And those are the kind of characters that our sport needs. You watch back in the day, there was a lot more chirping than we're seeing nowadays. So I think the more people like Sean, the better for our sport.
Could not agree anymore.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour has something, I want to say it's the PIF, the Player Impact Fund, or something of that sort, where they have a incentive. I think it's the top 10 players who have the biggest engagement and reach on social media on the PGA. They get bonuses.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think that if the AVP had a similar thing, Sean would be the money winner every time.
I would say so.
Except, of course,
so.
if Zana posts a picture, she'll beat the entire AVP.
Right. I don't keep up to date with who has how many followers or whatever, but I mean, I know Sean's got a good social media just impact, and for sure he'd be
so funny.
He'd be up there for sure.
How'd you guys get together? Your first tournament was Wapaka?
Technically, our first tournament was a CBVA like 3 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah. But I don't know. So sometime around COVID.
Where was that one?
Huntington.
Okay.
CBVA in Huntington. That was our first tournament together. We lost in like the quarters, the classic 1 game to 28, and that somebody I don't even know who we lost to. Somebody got ahead of us and we couldn't come back, and it's not volleyball. It's not a volleyball match. It's a volleyball game, but we lost in like the quarters or something, and then just didn't link up after that until Wapaka this year. And it was, I didn't know who I was going to play the rest of the season with or anything like that. And I didn't even like lock it down with him for the season at that point. It was just, hey, you don't have a guy for Wapaka. I don't have a guy for Wapaka. Let's see what happens. And we linked up, and I didn't even know at that time that, because I think I had maybe enough points to be in the main draw for Manhattan if I had gone, signed up with some other guys or had some other options. But qualifying in Wapaka meant that we had to take that bid to Manhattan, and I had no idea, so we won. And
so funny.
I didn't even know till a couple weeks after we won that we were going to play Manhattan together, because I was still talking to some other guys like, hey, I think Sean I might sign up with this guy, and and then I talked to, I think, Dietrich, who's knows the rules pretty well, and he was like, no, you and Sean are playing Manhattan, you have to. I was like, what? And then like emailed AVP, and they were like, yeah, you have to. You and Sean are playing Manhattan.
That's so funny, because
okay,
because I was like sort of floating around in that, because I was talking to Dietrich about playing, and Dietrich and Sean had like sort of committed, but then we didn't know if you guys would have to take the bid together. And
I forgot, I had me and Dietrich were signed up for Atlanta.
Yes.
So we were signed up for Atlanta. I played Wapaka with Sean, and we were, at that point, we thought the championships were going on and everything, so maybe wanted to play the Gold Series with the same person, right? If you want to give yourself a chance to be in that. And so me and Dietrich were talking like, hey, we should probably play all these together, if we want a chance to get into this. Or last year it was like your best 2 out of 3 or whatever. I forget the exact ruling. And then winning that with Sean locked us in for Manhattan. So like that's one with each. So then it was, who do I play with Chicago?
Right.
And
well, I think your run in Manhattan probably sealed the deal.
Yeah, but the sign up for Chicago was before Manhattan.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
Okay,
right, because Manhattan was like
that's right.
A couple weeks into August.
The Chicago qualifier for Chicago was like the week before
Manhattan.
In Huntington,
say, right?
Yeah.
So I had to make that decision before.
Yeah. Man,
went with Shawnee.
For those of you who don't know the partnership shenanigans that goes on, it's so hard because you don't know if you're going to play the next tournament with this guy, but then you got the sign up deadline. So if you play that tournament, then you got shit the bed when you're stuck.
And if it was
it's tricky,
and if it was like, is this year the first? No, it's been the last couple of years since we've had tour series, right?
2 years,
last 2 years, but okay. And
before that it was AVP Next Golds.
Yeah, and once it turned to tour, then it was kind of those ones being top 4 or making the semis kind of qualified you, or sometimes the trickle down or whatever. So that kind of has been locking people into certain partnerships for certain periods of time. Oh, I'm going to play with Travis for the next 2 months because we qualified in Virginia Beach, so now we're playing in whatever together. So it's been keeping people locked in for like certain chunks of times, whereas before that it was just 8 AVPs in the year, and there was no tour series, so you just play with whoever you want to play with, or there wasn't that factor, right, of, oh, well, we can play together, but I'm going to play this tournament with this guy, so I might as well stick with him, or, yeah.
I'm interested to see if they keep the tour series around. My gut would say no.
Me too.
But
Yeah, I don't know if they should. It does make it a little weird. I think, in my opinion, it's made it, up and comers might not kind of say the same thing, but I think it gives people, who are just trying to gain some points or gain some experience and trying to get into the main draws. I think it gave them a better chance.
The greatest thing.
Yeah. You get a chance to get points. Those top teams are not going to be there. So I thought it was incredible opportunities for those kind of teams to kind of work their way and hopefully try and get to some main draws.
If you don't qualify, you can still make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And when you do qualify, you make a decent amount of money.
Yeah, then you get that money and the money that you're going to get from the main draw making the next tournament, right?
Yeah, so I was a big fan of the Tour Series.
Yeah, so that was great for those teams, but obviously I think made it maybe a little interesting for sponsorships and for the sponsorships for the AVP because there was so many different tiers and it wasn't always stadium style at these Tour Series and where are they and who's going to be there? Why are the top 5 teams not? You know what I mean? So we'll see.
We'll see. There's a lot. That's like the theme of this fall and winter.
Yeah.
And spring is we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
That's why I told you. I got no anticipation, no expectations.
Yeah.
Sure, some sort of season is coming our way, but
something's happening.
Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Sure, we'll play in Manhattan in August.
Yep. Well, I think the city of Manhattan wouldn't. I mean, they don't care if the AVP doesn't plan on doing it. They're like, all right, we'll run our own.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the 2012 Manhattan Open?
No.
It is a legendary tournament.
Yeah.
So that was when Donald had just bought the AVP, but I think they ran 2 events that year.
Okay.
And the city of Manhattan was like, listen, we're running the Manhattan Open. And so there's no stadium, old school rules, side out scoring.
No way.
And Sean Rosenthal won with Aaron Wachvogel.
I don't know who that is.
And Wachvogel was awesome.
Okay.
We play on the same 6-man. Still got it.
Yeah.
And they played Dana Camacho and I think Billy Strickland.
No way.
I think Billy Strickland in the finals. And there were good teams in that tournament. It was like Nygaard played with Mayer, I think.
Okay.
Crosser was playing when he was still pretty dang good.
Uh-huh.
They were good teams.
Okay.
But that's like the most underground Manhattan Open ever.
Yeah. Totally. That's epic.
Would have loved to have been there. So the Manhattan Open is going to happen. I would assume that the AVP will run the Manhattan Open.
It'd be stupid not to.
Yeah. I think I really want to do a big story one day on that 2012 Manhattan Open. Just what a rogue.
Get those guys together and have them talk about it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Because we had them on the SANDCAST After Dark episode I was telling you about.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about that. And that's one of the clips that I want to at least save because it was so fun having Rosie talk about it.
Oh, I'm
just
sure.
What a sick event it was.
Rosie's a character.
Rosie's awesome.
Love Rosie.
He's a legend. But what was it like to get that third in Manhattan? I talked to Sean about it. I was like, you beat 2 of the Mount Rushmore players ever.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah.
You beat Alison.
Yep.
And then you follow it up with Phil.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That felt really good because I would think I was 0-4, 0-5 to Phil at that point. Hadn't beaten him yet. And, those guys are both past their prime, right? They're not playing internationally anymore or anything, but it still feels good as to beat somebody that you watched win a gold medal as a kid.
Yep.
So that was definitely fun. Yeah. That was a big day and a long day because it was the big, what was it? Hurricane Hillary? Huge hurricane. So we played 4 matches on Saturday, which is not, I think normally you only play 3, right? Max, or nowadays.
Typically the max.
Yeah. So we were going through the losers bracket. I forget who we beat in the morning, maybe a Urrutia and Caleb Queckel. And then we play Alison next. I hadn't beaten Billy either. Billy's one of my least favorite people to play.
It's so hard to play against him.
I hate playing defense against that guy. It's terrible.
Everything's the exact same. He makes everything. He's here. He's got his angle swing. He's here. The patented high line. He's here. Cut shot.
The short
Everything looks the exact
line.
same. He's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, he's, one of my least favorite people to serve in the AVP is Billy Allen. Hadn't beaten him. I'd never played Alison and was just not expecting to do much as a blocker against him. Maybe get some pulls if he does his short high line or, mix some things in here. But I was like, I don't want to serve Billy. I think we got to try Alison and see what happens. And we somehow took care of them in 2. Took care of business, and Sean had a good beat on both of them. I think we started on Alison, went to Billy a little later, and Sean had a good beat on him, and kind of took care of business, handled them, and then Phil, well, no, we had one more match that day because Phil was our 4th match of the day at like sunset. And yeah, like I said, was 0-5 against him, so did not want to. I was like, I need to beat this guy before he stops playing. I don't know.
What's it like to play Phil? I've never played him. Practiced against him a handful of times, but
it's not like you're like, oh fuck, I'm playing Phil Dalhausser because he's walk up to you and shake your hand and have a chit chat before the game. You know what a chill guy Phil is. Like I love talking with Phil.
Yeah.
So you're not like, if you're playing Jake Gibb, you're kind of like a little more fear factor in my opinion, because he's kind of gnarly. He's probably not going to talk to you at all. Maybe going to talk some shit, if anything.
Quietly, under his breath.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah, but maybe stare into your soul. Do a little eye shit talk.
He was so good at that.
Yeah. But regardless of the personality of Phil, there's the player of Phil, which is just a complete dominant factor, as a blocker, as a server, can take over any match at any given time, which he had done to me various times until then. And I think we took care of them in 2 as well. And I think he just doesn't quite have the option like he used to, or maybe just isn't looking to go on 2 as much as he used to, which makes him a little less of a threat because you can serve his partner every ball.
Yeah.
Which I believe we did. Avery saw some serves this year.
Dude, if you go and look at the number of attacks, it's like Avery
he's got to be
is up here, and number 2 is like hundreds of attacks away.
Avery's number 1
by far. It's not even close.
That doesn't surprise me because I think they consistently took 5ths or 3rds or whatever all year, so they played a fair amount of matches, and I'm sure Avery was seeing most of those serves.
Yeah, it's so funny because I played with Avery before he started playing with Phil, and Avery got like 2 serves.
Oh, Miami? No,
in New Orleans.
New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah. And Avery got like 2 serves whole tournament. We played you guys actually. We played you and Chaser
in New Orleans.
That super windy day.
What day?
On Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
The 7th place match.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to start, I think it's 7 a.m. or something outlandish, and then because of the rain,
they knocked it
the
back
courts were still
bit.
underwater, so they bumped it back to 8.
Yeah. Everybody got there at like 6, and they're like, "Oh well, we're gonna push everything back an hour." So, oh, thanks for letting us sleep.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been great to know 2 hours ago, so I could come back to bed.
Yeah. Or just, never mind. I'm not going to say that actually.
What time was your last match on Saturday? Did you get one of those crazy night matches
in New Orleans?
Yeah.
We played Dietrich and Tim Baumgren.
Okay.
It was completely dark out. I don't know what time it was, but
yeah, our match started. We played Dentler and Jake Landale. I want to say it probably started around like 10:15, 10:30.
Okay.
Finished around 11:15.
Yeah.
Got Raising Canes, and then we were up at like 5, thinking we had to play at 7.
Okay.
So we're running on like 4 hours of sleep. Because after a match, it's not like you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'll just shower and clonk out. You got the adrenaline's going.
Yeah, you got
Celsius.
You got to eat.
Caffeine.
You got to refuel a little bit before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Get some calories in you.
That tournament was just a road dog tournament.
Yeah, it really was.
And Wilson exploded. Everyone taking cover in the bar. It's awesome that the AVP kept everything as matches.
Yes.
I thought that we were going to have to do the one year in New Orleans, it rained so much that it got pushed so far back. This is the second AVP I'd ever played, that the qualifier was, the matches were, the first 2 sets were games to 11, and the third was a game to 7. So I went to 3, lost in 3. My qualifier match lost like 7-5.
Oh my god!
It was like a 22-minute match.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. I know it happened in Atlanta last year. I think I've never had to play a shortened AVP.
Really?
Yeah. But that completely changes the game. Obviously, it's even for both teams still. Yeah. But completely changes the game.
New Orleans, it's always a wild ride going out there.
Yeah. But Sunday, we ended up getting some decent weather that Sunday, so we could play them all. Yeah.
Yeah, it ended up being. That's the crazy thing is, it was a beautiful day. You snap your fingers and it's a hurricane.
Yeah.
You snap your fingers and it's over.
Yeah.
And then it's a beautiful day again.
Yep. Yeah,
I love going to New
It was
Orleans.
back and forth.
Because the people there who live there, they get it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is totally normal. Like,
days for
we're
them.
out here.
Yeah,
It's a hurricane party.
Yeah, no, it didn't steer people away. There was people standing there in the rain.
Oh yeah.
A great crowd.
And they went out. My buddy
it's
Logan.
It's a good venue
my
too,
buddy
because you have
Logan
the bar.
Rydell.
Because you have the bar to hide out in and everything.
Yeah.
So it's a good venue for that.
But my buddy Logan and Ashley Rydell found Wilson, cut out a strip of it, and then got all the players to sign, or as many as they could, and then they put it in Logan's man cave. So he has this like strip of the exploded Wilson ball
With a bunch of signatures.
with a bunch of signatures.
Nice.
It's
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, I want to say some people brought it back to him or something, or Evan's dad had it, or I don't know.
Yeah, they just found, because that thing was huge.
Okay, and then the other thing is, you're pushing our matches back an hour or two, but there's a new Wilson up somehow the next morning. I was like, okay, how do we have a backup motherfucking Wilson ball ready to go here, but we can't play volleyball? Like, what is going on?
Yeah. I couldn't believe they put another one up.
Yeah,
I
also,
couldn't believe they had another one.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, wait, where did this come from? But we can't play volleyball right now. Where are the priorities here?
Oh, so funny.
Gotta have that Wilson.
Gotta have
that
Wilson. Yeah.
Can't play without it.
But yeah, I forgot that we played there until just now.
Yeah,
That me and you played each other.
yeah. Same. Same.
But your run through Manhattan, though, you beat Alison and Phil.
Yep.
That's like, and not that you ever lack for confidence. I feel like you're not like a unconfident person. You're not cocky. But when you walk on, I'm like, yeah, I mean, Code's not too worried.
No.
But that's got to be a nice little booster.
For
to know
sure.
that you could side out at a high enough rate to sweep Alison and Billy and then sweep Phil and Avery.
Absolutely. I mean, those are two world-class blockers, even still, maybe not to the same caliber that they used to be, but those are still some really good blockers. So when you get to, side out against those and know that you can do it consistently for a match and beat people in two, there's no question. I mean, as you play more and more teams in the AVP, more guys, and you get wins or you kind of size up and see where you're at, there's no question. Like, beating certain people will raise your confidence or will make you feel better going, if I go and play Phil again, I'm not going to say, oh shit, I'm 0-6 against Phil. Hey, I got him last time. That's just a little something in the back of your head that's not going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but no, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm overly confident, but I'm also not scared to play anybody in the world.
Appropriately confident.
Yeah.
I mean, you won an NCAA championship.
Yeah.
MVP. Played pro indoors. Played very good on the beach because you won Wapaka
Yeah.
without dropping a set. And then you won Laguna, right?
Yep.
I mean, Laguna's a big win.
Yep. Huge.
That's a historic tournament.
Huge. I mean, it's hard to win any tournament that we play in, right?
Yes.
Tour Series, Gold Series, whatever it is. There's no tournament that's easy to win. There's not many times where you get to go 6-0 or 8-0 or however many games you win. We don't get to do it that much. It's competitive. Everybody's out there trying to win.
Yep.
So you just don't get to do it that much. So no matter the size of the tournament, it always feels good.
Yeah.
Always
It's
feels
got to be
good.
super fun winning with Sean, too. It's always
sure.
fun winning, but winning with Sean, I feel like has a multiplication factor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, playing with Sean, one thing, and then winning with Sean's another thing. So, yeah, but it's all good. It's all good with him.
And you guys likely staying together, I would assume,
We have, we've locked it in for AVP of next
for
year.
whatever it looks like.
Or whatever
anyway.
it looks like we're going to play this next season together. Yeah.
And then Sean is still working on the citizenship.
Unless Andy asked me to play.
You can drop Miles anytime. Give up the Olympics. So, well, actually, that is pretty funny because are you a blocker or defender? Have you made up your mind?
I mean, I've been blocking for most of my beach. I mean, I've only played defense in a few tournaments with you, for Dave Lee.
Oh, and you won. You won. You got to be one of the only guys who's won multiple tour series as a blocker and a defender.
Yep. Well, I don't know, but I've done that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But yeah, haven't played too many tournaments on defense. But I would imagine as I go on, I will be a defender at some point. I mean,
Okay.
at some point, right, the physicality is going to decrease. As Father Time gets us all, right? And as like maybe can't jump as high, I think I'll probably slide back to defense. I think I have the IQ and size and physicality to maybe
You got
be
those
able.
paddles.
I got the paddles.
Yeah, just the
paddle.
paddle defense is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, length helps, right? Something that's maybe 3 steps for Taylor Crabb is maybe a step and a half for me or something. So I don't need to be as fast as those little guys. And, it'll take some time and it'll take some getting used to for sure. But I think I've got the tools to be able to make it happen. So I think at some point there will be a switch.
How tall are you?
6'5.5".
6'5.5". Mm-hmm. You play like 6'9".
I got the long arms.
Dude, it was, our Funds team, that's one of my favorite memories.
Oh, that was a great tournament.
Is setting you and then having Evan behind me.
Yeah.
It was like, I was a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Like, I can put the ball, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that semifinal match was, it was
epic.
The gnarliest Forest match I've ever played in.
Yeah.
For sure. It was side out, and it was I don't know, over an hour at least. One set to 15. Was it 2 sets?
One set to 15.
One set to 15 took over an hour for sure.
And that's up actually on our YouTube channel for anyone watching. And for those listening, you can look. It's me. Cody was on the left. Evan was behind me on the right, and then we had JD passing and playing defense. And on the other side of the net, we had Rosie setting, D. Lee coming out the middle, Samuels, Ed Ratledge, and then Satterfield was popping in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And we won.
It
was awesome.
Despite the bird on.
Despite the bird. I was wondering if you can bring it up.
I mean, the most outlandish call I've ever seen in my life. I don't think it'll ever happen again.
I don't think so either.
I don't think you'll ever see it again.
It was like Randy Johnson. I'm sure you've seen that video.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we had a bird on the court. It was a very big argument, everyone. It was hilarious, though.
There was a bird within the vicinity of the court. I wouldn't say on the court.
Yeah.
It took a quick fly through at about 20 feet above the net, I'll say. Maybe a little lower. Maybe that's exaggerating. But, Samuels and David Lee get in your face. It might influence you a little bit.
Yeah.
to make a call one way.
And D. Lee, I've never seen him anything but super happy. But if he ever looked at me angry, I'd be like, whatever you want, sir.
Yeah, you can have my wallet, and here's the keys to my house, and here's my child if you'd like him.
Coolest dude on the planet.
Yeah, not that he would ever do that. But if he was angry, I wouldn't. You're in the wrong spot.
Yeah. How was it playing with D. Lee? Is it just the greatest thing?
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, he's one of my favorite people in the world, and I watched him play indoor since I was a kid. Watched him. I think he was on like a top 10 ESPN play or some point, which is pretty rare for volleyball. Or I think he was on like the cover of ESPN magazine at one point or something like that.
That's sick.
But yeah, he was for sure an idol of mine growing up. I just watched him play on the national team, get the gold medal, be the best blocker in 2008. I was like, damn, what a legend, And then I got to know him as his indoor career came to a halt and started playing on the beach. And now we're good friends. And we played 2 tournaments because that qualified us for Atlanta, which didn't work out as well for us as Atlantic City.
What'd you guys do in Atlanta barbecue?
We shit the bed.
You have a tough history in Atlanta, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. I've not done well in Atlanta. Yeah, no, we played Try and Trevor, who just absolutely smoked us. And then we played Logan and Hayden, who we started out 0-7 too. First side switch.
Tough. But those guys have a history of putting people up 7-0 and then losing it.
Logan and Hayden?
Well, their match against the Taylors, when Hayden and Taylor Crabb got into it, both sets, Logan and Hayden went up 7-0.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. The classic T Crabs.
Yeah, we didn't do the T Crabs dangle. we used up all our juju in Atlantic City.
I mean, that tournament was survival.
Yes.
You stayed in the winner's bracket, right?
We didn't drop a set. We stayed in the winner's bracket the whole time.
Because that's how you win those tour series.
Yeah.
Especially that one where it was hot. The sand got crazy hot.
It was hot. It was humid, and the sand was,
and people were just dying.
Very hot, and also like sharp shells everywhere. So, which if it's like normal temperature, might not be that big of a factor, right? But when it's hot and there's shells and rocks, like, and your feet are kind of sensitive at that point, like carving up the blisters or just cutting straight through your feet. People were chopped up.
I've never seen so many players just like being dragged off the beach,
crawling around, like just pouring water on their feet, getting into the shaded areas. It was rough for sure.
Marty refused to forfeit their last match. It was him and A-Rob, and I think they're playing
Marty,
David
you don't get
Raffo.
3 medicals. You can't have 3 medicals, Marty.
Marty played the last set on his knees, just refused to forfeit. Me and JM also refused to forfeit. It was our 5th match of the day. We played Sean and Logan.
Oh my God.
And JM's feet were kind of carved up and he was cramping. And so we just, JM was like, dude, I can't even like stand. I'm cramping so bad. It's like, well, let's just have a walking forfeit of the first set. Just chug electrolytes and pickle juice just so you can stand and pass and we can option. Mm-hmm. And we do that. And we brought it. It was like 17-18 where JM like did not move. And I optioned everything.
Against Sean and Logan, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we ended up losing. And if we went to 3, we would probably have lost like 15-2. Yeah. Because it was just unsustainable what we were doing. But talking to Logan after, he was like, well, that was weird.
For a set, you almost had it. almost had it.
But Microcell was like in a wheelchair going through the airport.
Really?
Dude, people were messed up from Atlantic City.
No comment.
So that's to win that tournament. I mean, you won the battle of attrition.
Yeah. And that was also just I mean, me and Dave hadn't trained at all. Okay, no, that's not true. We played in the CBVA where we lost in the quarters, and then we played like a NORCECA qualifier, which we weren't signing up for those tournaments trying to win them. We were just using them as tournament reps to get ready for it. I was like, I don't care if we lose this. I don't care what happens. Let's just see what we can do in Atlantic City.
And NORCECA qualifiers are a good, I think they're a good investment because say you pay for a coach like, between 50 and 75 an hour, or we can go do a NORCECA qualifier. It's like $75 a person. Yep. You get a ref. It's basically a paid practice. Yep. With real reffing, real competition,
and
scoring,
potential
you can qualify.
Potential upside. Yeah. Qualify and maybe get a stipend or whatever if you do well enough. Yeah.
So I only see upside of playing those qualies.
For sure. I agree. I tell some people are like, there's no point in me going and playing those. It's like, you might as well try. What like you said, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and get some reps and training. Like, you can do that any day of the week. There's only a certain amount of tournaments we can play in the year. There's not 30 AVPs like there used to be. Right. So I think they're great opportunities for sure.
And it's fun to just hang out with everyone. Yeah. Just hang out with the boys.
Tournament
day. You win a couple matches, hang out, chat with everyone.
Tournament day. Why not? Why not?
And have you played
in
NORCECA before?
You got shellbacks right there, It's all good.
Yeah. Have you played in NORCECA before?
I have.
Where'd you go? You and Chase went to Mexico.
Me and Chase went to Aguas Calientes.
It's an interesting spot. You didn't go to the fair this year, though, right? Weren't you guys kind of in the city center?
No, it was just a walk away to that big festival thing. Yeah. Yeah, we went and checked it out.
But it wasn't played in the equestrian center.
It was played in the city center.
Okay.
Was the tournament there and at the festival?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we played at the festival.
The one with hundreds of thousands of people?
Wild.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was cool.
Dude, what the hell?
We played in
we
played in an equestrian ring.
Okay.
And they had 2 courts side by side. It was cool. NORCECAs are fun. Aguas is a fun one. All the Mexico stops. If anybody has a chance to play in Mexico, I always encourage it.
Absolutely. I mean, they're top 3 in my opinion sports fans in the world.
Where are the other 2?
Greece and India.
Greece.
And I'm not ranking these 1, 2, 3. Mexico might be number 1. I'm just saying
but they're in the top 3.
Yeah, they're
Greece. India. I know. I mean, because cricket's wild. Yeah. But I've never heard that about Greek fans.
Oh, absolutely wild. I played there my first year after college, and I played David Lee in the finals of the Greek League. He wasn't playing that year. I think he was resting or doing something, maybe taking some time for his body, so he wasn't on a team for the 9-month European season. I think he was just in the national team gym in Anaheim or whatever. And I was on Cedos, this island out there playing for that season, and we ended up making the finals. And our team budget was, I don't know, $100,000 for the year. And you got to pay a team of 15 and coaches and travel and this, that, and the other. So it wasn't low anything budget. Crazy. Yeah, low budget team versus PAOK, who's a very established team, always one of the top Greek teams generally. And I think they had close to $1 million budget, just a lot more money than we did. They had some really good Cuban players on their team. And then as soon as playoffs come, they pick up David Lee and Jason Jablonski, who was NC2A Player of the Year. I don't know what year, but so they just pick up 2 U.S. national team guys as playoffs come. We're just our team, our team couldn't even consider doing anything like that. So we're just we have our squad, and we're we're on an island, like I said. So, and it's a best out of 5 series, best out of 7 series when you're in playoffs. So you're playing the same team. You got to win, you know, just like NBA or something like that. And they're traveling on a private plane to go from the north side of Greece to our island. Maybe an hour flight, and we're taking a 4-hour boat to like a 5-hour train to a bus. Or no, maybe not even a train. I think we were just boat straight to bus driving up there. And our stadium, you know, we could hold a couple thousand, and it was pretty nice. It would get pretty wild in there. Not like a crazy amount of people, but crazy fans for sure. But when we went to Pauk, especially for, I think it ended up being the final game there that they, you know, they were up 3-1 or something. And so if they won that, it was over.
Okay.
And it was, I think, an 8,000 person. You can ask him if he ever comes on. Has he been on here before?
No, been trying to, but he's off being the coolest person in the world all the time.
He has, you know, some problems being busy with that.
Every time I'll shoot him a text, be like, hey, dude, you want to come on? He'll be like, oh, I just got back from a 5-day backpacking trip in Yosemite. Oh, I just did this.
I got to get my surfing reps in before I go to Costa Rica. So sorry, man. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, D-Lee, I want to be a mixture of D-Lee and Tim Baumgren when I grow up.
Yeah, you've said that to me. That's quite the combo. That's basically a superhero.
Super dad with a superhero, and bam.
Yeah. No, you got to get him on here. He's the man, you know. But yeah, when we went there, it was, I think, an 8,000 person capacity. That ended up, there was, 10,000 plus people there. They're just packing it in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we get there at like 1 p.m. for a 7 p.m. match, and there's already thousands of people there.
That's
and
so cool.
We walk out just to do a little serve and pass. We're not even coming out to do our official warm up, just to touch the ball a little bit, and then we'll go back to the locker room and stretch or whatever. And there is people chucking water bottles, spitting water, straight up hawking loogies on us. Like, I was like, holy shit, dude. What are these people doing? Like, it's 1 p.m. Like, the game's not till 7. There's just thousands of people just coming just to talk
fired
shit.
Up.
Oh yeah, wild. And then, I mean, I can show you a video later, but like the intro, it was like, gave me the chills. They're all like face painted. They all got shirts that, coordinating shirts and this, that, the other, flags, signs. And there's a dude that comes out with a drum that just does this like intro that just like, it's almost like a slow clap, right? Like, starts out slow, but all 10,000 people are in synchronization.
It's like that Viking skull.
Exactly.
Skull. Yeah.
And I was just like standing there. They had just announced our names and everything. We're about to start playing. I was like, holy shit, dude. I mean, okay. And then they like do some like little streamer thing where they shot like, it was almost like toilet paper or like confetti or something. Took like 30 minutes to clean it off the floor. So we're all warm and ready to play, and then like they do this huge intro, and it's like a 30-minute cleanup for us to play after that. I was like, this is just classic. But it was, I mean, biggest crowd I've ever played in front of. It was amazing.
That's sick.
So yeah, I mean, they were on the other side, but for sure, some of the best sports fans I've ever experienced in my life.
And then Mexico, Mexico beach fans.
Mexico, I've never seen number one. I've never seen better beach volleyball support or fans or enthusiasm from anyone else except Mexico.
If you have the opportunity to play in the Paz, that's a special place to play.
Which I think they have one in the beginning of the year again, or it's on the tentative schedule or something.
Challenger or Seca?
Challenger.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I thought I saw
there's
it. There's
one in Guadalajara.
Okay, no La Paz this year.
But I don't think there's a La Paz.
Okay.
There might be a Norseca. They do the Norseca there every year.
Okay.
And that's by far the best. That's like the Manhattan Open of Mexico.
Okay. And you were at World Champs this year, right?
Yeah.
And you'd say over because that was Aguas? No, where is that?
Tlaxcala.
That's right.
You and A-Rob.
Me and A-Rob.
You went to
there.
Tlaxcala.
Yeah, we snuck in.
You played in the bull ring.
We snuck in.
Yeah.
Because we were not going to make it on points. I had 0 points. I'd never played an FIVB at this point.
Yeah, we both took a flyer. We both bought tickets and showed up when we were still on the reserve list.
But A-Rob, he knows this guy and that guy, and the other guy, his friend told him that
A-Rob going A-Rob.
A-Rob went A-Rob, and he found out that these people aren't showing up, and he's like, well, you know what? We're going to go. We're playing in Austin next weekend anyway, and we just go to Mexico. It's not even that much more expensive. It's just like, it's only a couple hour flight away, and we'll see, and if we get in, we get in. I was like,
yeah.
I'm in.
Got your reps against Hanato and Vitor Felipe?
Not too
Fire
many
members?
reps. Not too many, but we got some.
You showed up. You were there.
Yeah.
You participated.
That was a similar deal to this year where that was right when I got back from India. So I had like 2 practices on the beach before going there.
Man. Then you played at altitude on the beach against
altitude on the beach.
Hot team
against them who they weren't where they are now, but they were playing like it.
Yeah.
So
Hanato, man, I love his game.
That's a fun team.
He's smooth.
That's a fun team to watch.
Very.
They're very good. They're just good at everything. And I mean, just the way they cover is so frustrating. I like, having only 2 days of practice or whatever before I went, I was like happy with the way I blocked and was like, wasn't expecting to do much against that team, but I was like, I actually blocked them, 8 times. I maybe only had 1 block point, maybe 0, but I had at least like 8 blocks and just like some decent blocks.
Yep.
Touch here, cover there, and boom, going to the pin and this, that, and just like run it back down your throat. I was like, well, this is just really frustrating.
That's what Rich, whenever I commentate with Rich, we always talk about how blockers need frustration management. Because on the World Tour, the highest level, I think one of the most underrated skills at the elite level is covering.
For sure.
I think that good teams can cover, but they'll cover maybe 50% of the balls that the elite teams do.
Yep. Because it's something that you have to tell yourself to do and be in it's like, most people don't put the mindset on covering as they do on siding out, right? If you're getting set the ball, you are like, I need to side this ball every single time I can. Versus when you set the ball, how many times are you going to cover somebody with that mindset?
Right.
It's more just like, if it comes to me, I'll get it. If it's not, we'll see what happens. But yeah, like you said, those elite teams that's a point.
And a lot of times you'll see the elite teams will run a play out of a cover.
Yep.
Anders and Christian do a spectacular job of that, where Christian, if he gets set a little bit too tight, he doesn't even bother with it. He just pokes it right into the block, recycles it to Anders. Anders shovels it to Christian, then he's shooting. And then Christian has a nice little bump shoot, and Anders, like, bang.
And that's a point. Same as an ace, same as a side out, same as a block, same as this, that, or the other. And yeah, you're right.
And you have the demoralizing effect on the blocker. It's like, oh, I just made a great move. And then you just, not only did you cover it, you actually just threw it down my face with a play out of it.
Yep. Yeah. Which for sure, I mean, it's not to say you'll put somebody out of there, like make them give up or something, but you do that over and over, that takes a toll.
Yeah,
for sure. You're like, how am I supposed to beat these guys? Doing everything I can. I'm blocking balls. I'm doing my job, and they're just scoring out of it. So
it's maddening.
That takes a toll.
Yeah. Well, you're playing with Sean, as far as we know, on the AVP. You try to get back on the World Tour?
Trying to get back on the World Tour for sure. Not sure who I'm going to play with yet. There's not too many people who I think, obviously there's the guys who are going for the Olympics who know who they're playing with and know what their schedule is and know what they're doing. Other than that, below that, I don't know how many commitments there is to international. I think Kyle and Tim maybe are playing together. I'm not even sure on that. So there's some opportunity there. I don't know who's playing with who. I don't think there's much conversation even going on right now. But yeah, definitely trying to play as many international tournaments as I can this year. Start training for that next quadrennial.
Yep. There we go. Love it.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Great to see you again.
Good to see you too, brother.
Bimbo.
Yeah, buddy. we got to run Fuds back.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do that. This year, actually,
we're due.
Might have to happen.
We're due. It's been a while.
We're due.
Shoots.